Text messages released by CNN revealing a conversation with Utah Senator Mike Lee and then White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows about efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Emily Clark is joined by Senator Lee and Republican Senator Joni Ernst to talk about those text messages, this year's midterm elections, and challengers in the primary and general elections. Emily.
We are joined now by Senator Mike Lee and Iowa Senator Joni Ernst. Thanks so much to both of you for joining us. Senator Lee, let's get right to it so we can move on to the rest of our conversation. Let's talk about those text messages obtained by CNN. What's your reaction or your explanation to what was released last week?
Yeah, these were text messages between me and my friend Mark Meadows, who was the White House Chief of Staff at the point. I was looking into whether there was any truth to whether there were some states planning to rescind or modify their electoral votes in the days or weeks leading up to January 6th. They weren't. The rumors continued to persist. I got back to him and asked him again, is this what's happening? I reminded him of the fact that there's really no role for Congress to play. The Electoral College and the presidential elections, they're up to the states, not the federal government. Congress has only one role: open and count. Those text messages were consistent with what I said in my speech on the Senate floor on January 6th, which is that's our only role: open the votes and count.
And you did vote to certify.
I voted to certify because the electoral vote made clear that Joe Biden had been elected President of the United States.
Okay, let's get to our great senator from Iowa here and why you are here in the state of Utah today. Let's talk about the importance of midterm elections and exactly why you're visiting Utah today.
Exactly. I am here because I have had the wonderful experience of working with Senator Mike Lee for many years now. And he is a constitutional conservative, and so many of us in the United States Senate, both Democrats and Republicans, will turn to Mike for advice when it comes to constitutionality, when it comes to the processes of the United States Senate, and just bottom line good policy. So I am here to support my friend, my colleague, someone who really has been a mentor in the United States Senate, and just tell the great folks here in Utah how valuable he is and how much we appreciate his service.
Okay, Senator Lee, convention is this weekend. Let's talk about that. And you do have a couple of women who are trying to take you on. So let's talk about your competition and what will happen at convention on Saturday.
Yes, I've got 5 opponents in the primary. 2 of them are women, and they are also the 2 who seem to be doing the best and making the most progress, Allie Isom and Becky Edwards. We're going to be having votes on Saturday with 4,000 delegates from across the state elected at precinct locations will gather together in the Utah Republican Convention. We look forward to the discussion. We're going to each have an opportunity to speak, and then there will be votes.
And what do you hope during your speech to portray to the people that are voting during convention?
I'm going to communicate what I do in the United States Senate, why I'm there, and why I'm interested in serving again. Talking about the risks of not following the Constitution, the risks of deviating from the narrow, limited government that the Founding Fathers put in place.
Now, since we have both of you here, can we quickly talk about our country? Inflation, obviously, such a big deal right now. So, Senator Ernst, let's talk about that and what the Republican Party sees as a solution to help those of us who are just trying to fill our tank up with gas and how expensive that's become.
And thank you. This is such an issue, and it's the #1 issue I hear when I'm crisscrossing Iowa, visiting all 99 counties. And Iowans come and they say, this is really hard. My heating bills went up substantially over the winter. Price at the fuel pump, I had to put fuel in the tank, is way out of control. Inflation, just to buy groceries to feed their families. It is really difficult for our families. And what both Mike and I have seen as part of that issue is the exorbitant amount that has been spent by our federal government when we have goods and services that have been diminished over COVID-19, and yet the federal government keeps pushing out the dollars, and that exacerbates the problem. It hurts American families. So what should we be doing? We should curtail the government spending. We should have big government get out of the way. But when it comes to energy and resources, we need to develop all of that here in the United States. And that's something that the Biden administration has turned away from. We should be unleashing American energy, American innovation, and we can correct the situation we are in.
Okay, Senator Lee, Senator Ernst, thank you so much for joining us here for the News at 4.
Thank you.